Limbaugh, America's #1 talk show host, talks to Barbara Walters about his public image, his private life. When 2020 continues, after this from our ABC stations.
Even though they seldom agree with him. He's the man millions listen to across the country. In fact, he's America's #1 talk show host. People can't seem to get enough of him. He's a star of radio and television. His first book, called The Way Things Ought to Be, is at the top of the bestseller list, has been for ages, it seems. His new book, published just yesterday, is titled See, I Told You So, and that's already a guaranteed hit. His name, Rush Limbaugh. If you didn't know him before, you will after tonight. Because this man who loves to talk, although rarely about himself, is going to do just that. Who is Rush Limbaugh, and does a private man fit the public image?
Talent on loan from God. Rush Limbaugh in New York, the doctor of democracy. Coming to you from high atop the EIB building in Midtown Manhattan, ensconced in the prestigious Attila the Hun chair of the Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies.
Rush Limbaugh has a lot to be self-satisfied about. He has the most successful talk show in radio history, an audience of over 18 million people a week on 626 stations.
Here is Rush Limbaugh.
We are up to day 209 of the Clinton presidency, which has us all in its evil clutches. 1,200.
Limbaugh also has a successful television program, syndicated late at night. And his first book has been a bestseller for over a year. So if Rush Limbaugh is so popular, why do so many people love to hate him?
The fact that he's constantly knocking Clinton, I mean, from day one. Anti-anything that's good. He's the devil.
He is someone who caters to the worst prejudices in other people.
I walk out here tonight and I heard somebody shout, "Overkill!" And it's because of these ribbons that I am wearing. Here they
Limbaugh has managed to antagonize liberals, feminists, gays, and environmentalists, among others.
The green, right here, save the rainforests.
Political correctness. How do you feel about that?
Just another word for totalitarianism. It's just another way for the people, predominantly on the left. Liberalism is I think political correctness is actually just a new name for liberalism.
How do you feel about homosexuals?
Well, you know, homosexuals are going to exist, and I have no objection to what anybody does in their bedroom, but at the same time, I don't want somebody getting in my face and saying, I'm gay. You must like it, you must love me, and you must accept everything I do. I don't get in everybody's face and say, I'm straight. Half my brain tied behind my back just to make it fair. Rush Limbaugh serving humanity in New York on the EIB network.
His talk radio competitor, Larry King, has said Limbaugh is a zealot who's made a career out of bashing people. Nightline's Ted Koppel, who's had Limbaugh as a guest, views him differently.
He's extremely articulate. Rush Limbaugh is, I guess to the left, he is sort of like an aching tooth. They can't stand him, but they can't leave him alone. And to the right, he's like cotton candy. They just keep gobbling him up.
And the supply is prodigious. 15 hours a week on the radio, 5 half hours on television. But that's Limbaugh the performer. For all his broadcast brashness, he carefully guards the private Rush Limbaugh. We wanted to find out what's behind his public face. Will you tell us what it is that you basically believe?
I'm a mainstream conservative. I don't consider myself a right-wing, although I have, as I look at the newspaper accounts of my goings and comings, I see that I have come up with a third name, ultra-conservative, Rush Limbaugh.
Do you mind?
No, I think it's part of the territory. I think what I do is shine the light of truth on things. And then the reaction is, well, let's label this guy something that'll discredit him. Let's call him a bigot. Let's call him a racist. Let's call him ultra this or ultra that.
Yeah. Do you care? I mean, does it hurt?
I've looked at myself as a harmless, lovable little fuzzball, and so now, I have.
No kidding.
Yeah, I'm just touchy-feely. I'm not a threat to anybody.
Come sit on my lap.
I would love to. I've wanted to for the longest time.
This is probably the place to bring up one of the most controversial things you've ever said, calling feminists feminazis. And you've said, I love the women's movement, especially when I'm walking behind it. Now,
Sure.
that's kind of funny. But
Yeah, kind of. It's uproariously funny, and it's harmless.
to you, it's uproariously funny.
No,
Okay.
it's harmless.
Let's just define this for people who say he calls them feminazis.
but I don't.
What do you mean?
I
You
don't.
did.
Well, no, I never did call feminists feminazis. There are a select few feminists who I call feminazis. And you have to really work hard to earn your way into the feminazi status. You know what feminazi really is a woman who is so consumed with the advancement of the feminist agenda that she gets mad when a woman who's pregnant, who was going to have an abortion, is talked out of it. And women who think that, for example, all sex is rape, even the sex in marriage, because women are
Okay,
just
you're saying
confused.
extreme. You're saying
it's a very
feminazis are extreme.
extreme
What about when
position.
you say feminists are ugly women who need dates?
I never said that.
Well, sort of. You said it a little more elegantly.
Well, I'll give it
than
to you.
said.
I once wrote in a newspaper column I had, the 35 Undeniable Truths of Life. Number 24, feminism was established so as to allow unattractive women easier access to the mainstream of society. Well, you know, I think one of the things that, look, Barbara, this is nobody, I try to explain this, I don't know how many times.
I don't know why people don't understand it. It seems so simple to me. Feminazis, ugly women.
Now, but see, I have been
right?
aided and abetted by this continued misrepresentation of what a feminazi is, and by the continued misrepresentation of what my views on women are. I am perceived as hating women.
Do you? No, you love women.
I love women.
What influence do you think you have? Can you make people vote a particular way? Can you really change their views?
I can. I think I'm validating. I think I am ratifying what people already think, and I think they're happy because I'm one of them. Also, I have fun. I combine, I think, two things that are not found anywhere else in the media, television, radio, newspapers. I combine irreverence, a sense of humor, with the serious, credible discussion of consequential issues. And there is no one else who's doing that, left or right.
Larry King criticizes you and says that you bash gays and you are not as generous in your opinions as you might be. What do you feel about him?
I think, in truth, Barbara, if I may be bold, he's just overcome with a little bit of envy and jealousy. And who am I? Nobody ever heard of me 5 years ago. I've come out of the woodwork and have taken over an area that Larry King thought was his by divine right.
The Rush Limbaugh of 1993, adored by his fans and successful beyond his wildest dreams, is the product of failure meeting determination. He's been fired from 5 radio jobs in a career that began in high school. Calvin Chapman was his guidance counselor.
He was just so excited about radio. And I never did get him to do all of his homework.
Rusty, as Rush Limbaugh III was called then, worked after school at the local radio station in his hometown of Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
KGMO, Cape Girardeau.
It's a city of 35,000 on the Mississippi River, about 100 miles downstream from St. Louis. But for Middle America, it is mainstream. And growing up here, Rush was able to avoid much of what was going on out there.
I didn't want to be identified with my generation, Barbara. I didn't wear blue jeans. I still don't. I didn't wear tie-dyes. I didn't protest America, never did. And so I wasn't part of the consensus.
He wasn't exactly a loner during high school, but he was shy and overweight. He was no classroom Casanova. Did you ever play spin the bottle and it landed in a girl and she said, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. She did, right?
I was about, this was, let's see, when was this? This was, junior high. Doesn't everybody play spin the bottle in junior high?
Yeah, but every girl, but, Rush, when it gets to the person, the girls don't go, yeah.
Oh, I'll bet they do. You think I'm the only guy in America that's had that happen?
No, but you're the only one I'm talking to. The Limbaughs were pillars of the community. Rusty's father, Rush Jr., was chairman of the county Republican Party and a man with strong political opinions. He died in 1990.